Okay. The Commission on Out-of-School Time Grants and Youth Outcomes is called to order at 6:04 p.m. Now, once again, a reminder on the technology. Please remember to raise your hand if you'd like to speak, or use the chat box to the panelists to inform us that you would like to speak. The OST team will unmute and notify individuals when they can speak. If all commissioners are unmuted for conversation, please remember to put yourself back on mute when not speaking so that we can reduce the background noise. When making or seconding a motion, please remember to identify yourself so that we can keep track of things for the minutes. And all votes will be taken by roll call as usual. Okay. Now, I don't think we currently have any public members that registered to speak in advance. Is that still correct? Okay, great, great. Is there anyone here that would like to speak? And if so, please enter it in the chat box to the panelists or raise your hand. Okay. Okay. Now, the first thing we'll do is the roll call attendance for the record. All right, Commissioner Berkey.
Present.
Wonderful. Hey, good to see you.
Yeah, nice to be back.
Wonderful. Thanks. Yeah, same here. Okay, marking that. Commissioner Coates.
Present.
Thank you. Welcome.
Great to be here.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's see. Commissioner Crump. Commissioner Desier. And please forgive me if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. Okay. Don't see her in the attendees either. Commissioner Henson. Okay. And Commissioner Hill.
Good evening. Present.
Thank you. Good evening. Vice Chairman Holland.
Present.
Thank you. And thank you for taking over the last meeting. I heard you did an excellent job. Got really good feedback. So thank you.
No problem. You know I got your back.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. For those who don't know, we had our first child during the last meeting. So I wasn't expecting it to overlap, but just happened to go into labor right before the meeting. So good to be back with you guys on the other side. Let's see. Commissioner Jenkins.
Present.
Thank you. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
Sure. Commissioner Jordan. Okay. Absent, and I'm present. Commissioner Peeler. Okay. And Dr. Kelly Rudd Saffron. Okay. And Commissioner Siegel has been excused. Commissioner Spector.
Present.
Thank you. Welcome. Commissioner Taylor. Okay. And we would like to welcome Dr. Lowe.
Present, thank you.
Hello, Dr. Lowe. Great. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 6, 7, 8. Okay, great. So it looks like we have met our quorum, just barely. Okay, the next item is to approve the agenda, and votes will be taken once again roll call style. So commissioners, can you all review the agenda, and whenever you're ready, can we get a motion to approve that agenda?
Motion to approve the agenda.
Thank you. And who's that?
Sorry, it's Vice Chairman Holland.
Okay, thank you, Vice Chairman Holland. Okay, motion to approve. Any seconds to that motion?
Seconded. This is Berkey.
Thank you, Commissioner Berkey. Okay, is there any discussion on the agenda? Okay, great. So we're gonna take a roll call vote. As I call your name, if you approve the agenda, please say approve. If you oppose, please say oppose. Those who abstain, please say abstain. If you have trouble unmuting yourself, please feel free to enter your vote in the chat box and we'll take that into account. Okay, Commissioner Berkey.
This is just approving the agenda.
Correct.
Approve.
Thank you. Commissioner Coates.
Approve.
Thank you. Commissioner Desir. Oh, she's absent. Commissioner Hill.
Approved. Yeah. Thank you.
Sure. Okay. Vice Chairman Holland.
Approve.
Thank you. Commissioner Jenkins.
Approve.
Thank you. And I approve. Commissioner Spector.
I'm not sure if that came through. I approve.
Thank you. Okay. Great. So the agenda is unanimously approved. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. Now, once again, the minutes will be taken in roll call style. Because we did not meet the quorum last meeting, we will need to do this twice. Once for the meetings from July 28th and once more for the previous minutes from May 26th, okay? So a draft version of the 2 minutes has been provided. Please take a look at these and let us know if there are any changes or revisions that need to be made to the minutes. And if there are no changes, whenever you're ready, can we please get a motion to approve those minutes?
I can move to approve the May minutes, but I need to abstain from comment on the July since I was not at the meeting.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Berkey. Sounds good. So Commissioner Berkey motions to approve it was the July minutes?
No, May.
Oh, the May minutes. Okay,
Mhm.
sounds good. Do we have any motions for the second, it's the July minutes?
Yeah, I can motion to approve the July meeting minutes. This is Commissioner Spector.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Spector. And any seconds to those two motions?
Commissioner Hill, I second those motions.
Thank you, Commissioner Hill. Sounds good. Okay, so we'll go ahead and vote on those. Commissioner Berkey.
Approve and abstain.
Thank you. Okay, sounds good. Okay, Commissioner Coates.
Approved.
Thank you. Commissioner Hill.
Approved.
Thank you. Vice Chairman Holland.
Approve and abstain. I think.
Okay. Thanks.
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Jenkins.
I wasn't present either, so I guess I approve and abstain.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks. And I too will approve and abstain. Commissioner Spector.
Approve both.
Thank you. Great. Okay. Great. So let's see. So the first one is unanimously approved. The second has 1, 2, 3, 4 that abstain, and 1, 2, 3 that approve, and none that oppose. So that motion passes. Thank you for approving the minutes. Wonderful. Okay. So now we're ready for the Office of Out of School Time Grants and Youth Outcomes updates. Kevin, are you ready to provide those updates to us?
Yes, I am, Chairperson Peacock.
Thank you very much. I'm excited to hear it.
Thanks. So for the Institute, good evening, Commissioners. For the Institute for Youth Development, just as a few updates. Currently, as of yesterday, the Institute has provided 76 events, and we've served 900 unduplicated attendees to date for fiscal 22. Our goal for this year on our key performance indicators was 800. So I'm happy to announce that we have definitely exceeded our goal for fiscal 22 in serving the unduplicated attendees. And we still have a couple of events left for fiscal 22. So I'm hoping that our event scores will boost up a little bit, which we should be at 100. So we're very close on that one in particular. The team of the Institute, we've completed the summer site visits for this fiscal year. We conducted about 43 site visits overall for summer grantees. We did both in person and some from a virtual perspective. Programs doing really well. A lot of really cool interactions, especially with a couple of the grantees that I conducted site visits with. Saw a lot of youth engagement and a lot of youth voice. Which is wonderful, wonderful to see from our grantees. And just recently, actually this past week, we launched the first of a series that we're creating of workshops that will be working around racial equity. This one in particular is an introduction piece, kind of the foundation per se, and looking more at the layers of racism, some of the stereotyping, and also some of the paradigm shifts, just to give folks like a foundation to begin with. What our plan is, we are working right now on a 3-part series. So those will be coming out during the course of this coming school year. And we are looking to have those that attended the foundation workshop to follow the remaining parts of the series. So this one would not be where they're like one-offs or you can just opt in, opt out to register, but we really want to build knowledge base. And then, so the next one when we launch it will actually then be offered to those that did attend the introduction piece as well. So it's exciting. We're getting there. And just as a side note, we'll also be launching, as I mentioned at our last commission meeting, the YCART series on the social emotional learning. That again is a very, very foundational piece and then builds upon itself. And we're going to be doing sort of that same process and kind of building a cohort of attendees that would go through that entire series as well, which is a total of 10 workshops overall. So some really cool stuff coming out of the Institute for this coming year, and happy to answer any questions that anyone might have. All right, I don't hear any. So thank you so much for letting me present, and I'll be passing it to my colleague, Malik.
Thank you for the excellent update.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Chairperson.
Thank you, Kevin. Good evening, commissioners. I'm here, Malik Lang, to provide a fiscal year 2022 grant update. Year-round closes September 30th, 2022. Summer Strong closes September 30th, 2022. Safe Passes, Safe Block closes September 30th, 2022. Capacity Building closes September 30th, 2022. So as you know, with the fiscal year is ending the September 30th, so these are our grants that are wrapping up for that fiscal year. Fiscal year 2023 grant updates. School year 2022-23 applications are currently being reviewed. Award notices have been delayed. Continuation award notices were delayed. Notices went out to organizations on September 19th, 2022. Safe passes, safe blocks. Award notices will be made by September 30th, 2022. Students in care of coordinating entity applications are being reviewed, and award notice will be made October 2022. I do want to add that the reason why some of the delays are the lack of reviewers from our external entities. That's one of the issues that we have in our office, is being able to find adequate reviewers to review these applications. But that is why I believe some of the delays currently from our office, but we are getting them out as soon as possible. So that, I believe, is the update for 2023, our grant update. Are there any questions before we transition to the next agenda point?
Just a question. It's Commissioner Berkey. Sorry, I put my camera on. The school year notices for the school year 2022-23 right now, are the awards are delayed due to what you just mentioned, but do you have any projection as to when organizations might find out? And my assumption is that they won't be able to begin services until some point into the school year.
I believe I can provide a bit of an update, but Vania, hop in if you can. But we will hopefully be able to make announcements this month. We are wrapping up the reviews in-house. But just to verify that, Vania, if you want to hop in and just provide a bit of an update, but I believe we're looking to have this out by this month.
That's absolutely correct, Malik. We are looking to have the applications reviewed as quickly as possible. As Malik mentioned, if any commissioners are aware, we have had some commissioners who've reviewed. So thank you, shout out to those of you who do, but of those in the field who are interested in participating as reviewers, please, please, please send us any names and information that you have. But yes, Commissioner Berkey, we are looking to have them reviewed as soon as possible. We like our award notices to go out, of course, prior to the execution of the grant agreement, but October 1 is always our grant period. So we are hoping to still align some point in time with the grant period as of October 1. So that has not changed. So programs will always be able to retro things back to October 1 start. There are some programs, as you are aware of, Commissioner Berkey, that will have already through other means started programming in schools and otherwise, and then we'll retro the funds to this funding stream once the funding becomes available and they have a grant agreement and a purchase order number to use for the funding.
That's great. That's great. Thank you.
Can you all confirm that Safe Passage programming that's supported by awards from this office has not been interrupted? That's my main question. Is that program occurring, or are they waiting and on hold to get the funding from our team to get moving with that?
That is a great question. It is occurring. So we have made some moves internally to ensure that there isn't a lack of coverage. And there have even been internal moves made to provide coverage in areas that are to be upcoming in what has been the new Safe Passage request for applications. But as of now, there is coverage for all Safe Passage priority areas, including the newest Safe Passage priority area, which is Petworth Brightwood.
It's great. Yeah, I mean, that's one of those non-negotiable things. So glad to hear that.
This is Commissioner Spector. In terms of external reviewers, are there any other strategies that we could be pursuing? I don't know if folks are compensated, if that would be possible. Just trying to think about other ways that we could prevent anything like this in the future.
I think we should have that conversation as an entire commission meeting, Commissioner Spector, in regards to what might be a new way to garner interest for reviewers. It is and has been and generally is across the board, at least for local grants, voluntary. So most of our reviewers are volunteers. But I do think there is definitely conversations that need to be had around other mechanisms for which to identify reviewers and then keep them on board, right? We get a lot of people who are interested and willing, but then when it's time to submit the reviews and complete them is when we have a lot of challenges and issues happening with people ghosting and not following through. So I do think that is something that more conversation should be had about in regards to reviewers and potential compensation or whatever those things might be.
Sounds good.
Okay, great. Are there any more questions on this before we move on?
So, thank you for to Commissioner Hill, that response. It's from the so how can that happen? You're saying that may be the conversation we need to have with the entire commissioner committee. How can that happen? What does that look like in terms of the compensation piece and other alternatives for reviewers? Do we propose it to chairperson to have that conversation? What is the protocol for having that type of conversation?
Commissioner Hill, I'll jump in and then maybe Dr. Lowe will want to add. As of right now, I am not certain. As I've told some others, I think OSSI, because they have now taken on the high impact tutoring grant that we shepherded for the first fiscal year, has set a precedence potentially for having some level of stipend. But I am not certain, Commissioner Hill, what that conversation entails completely. I think there will need to be some work done, some research and otherwise in regards to seeing what the options are, especially around compensation.
Thank you,
Does
Bonilla.
does OSSI, do they compensate people?
I think they may have had stipends, but
Stipends?
I would need to confirm that.
Is that a general practice with other government agencies? Do they stipend? I mean, that's just anyone can kind of just weigh in on that. I don't know what other agencies do in the District of Columbia, even in the surrounding jurisdictions concerning grant, even on a federal level. Kind of, I mean, because I really appreciate the work that is being done. And I know that we were talking in our subcommittee meeting about the providers actually also biting off a piece of the review process. So I'm just kind of wondering what's the norm across the city?
I can share a little bit. Good evening, everyone. Dr. Lowe here. I'll answer two parts to the question. Number one, about has it been done before with other entities? I have served personally as a volunteer with MOLA, Mayor's Office of Latino Affairs. I've done that in a volunteer capacity, so I know that other entities do it in a volunteer capacity. At the federal level, I know that there's payment, compensation, having vetted for conflict of interest, etc. So I've seen it at the federal level being compensated for, but locally, traditionally, it has been voluntary. What I will say for our office is that having grant reviewers do it voluntarily is not sustainable for us. It puts a lot of the onus on our team, and as a result, we are looking into alternate ways of getting our grants reviewed, whether it is our OST office, which is not ideal because we are already super booked and busy. We're also looking into the DME, but again, that is not sustainable. I would like us to get to a point where we are compensating grant reviewers for their work, because that is a much more sustainable model and will lead to less burnout for our OST office team.
Yeah, thank you so much for that response. So, I mean, how does that conversation happen? That's my original question. If that's a consideration, is that something that the committee members, commissioners propose to chairperson, or is that something that comes down from the administrative, the DME, the director of education, or I'm just trying to figure out how to get it moving.
What I can say is that I'm also in conversation with our finance and our chief of staff to see, like, are there any implications for this, for us for doing that? Because for me, it is priority. And if the implication is paperwork, then we can do the paperwork to get this going. So I'm not sure why it has not been done in the past. Sorry, I was going to have a commentary. I'm not sure why it has not been done in the past, but I think that for us to be a sustainable office, given all the grants we are fielding at RFIs, we have to make either compensation a priority for this, or embedding it into a staff's responsibilities or staff's responsibilities.
Yeah, and let me go on the record. I'm not suggesting that it be a staff responsibility because they already are doing tremendous work. I'm not trying to, I'm not suggesting staff eat
But
that.
when I say
well.
staff, I don't mean our current staff. Like, have it be an actual role within the office, or roles within the office.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that either. I'm more leaning toward, some type of other alternatives with regard to compensation, or we just try to figure out, have a conversation on how, we can try to strategize and make that better. Because, the office is growing each year in terms of physical dollars that come into the Learn24 OST office. And it's just not going, it's going to be a lot continually in the next years to come, because each year the office has grown with regard to the dollars that come into the office. So it's a lot more grants that need to be written and reviewed and taken care of. Okay, thank you so much.
We are on the same page regarding that.
Okay, thank you, commissioners, and that was an excellent question, an excellent answer. Are there any additional questions before we move on? Okay, great. So the next item on the agenda is the commission updates. Now, the first update that we have is the appointment of new committee members for the funding and capacity building, quality, outcomes and needs assessment, and coordination and collaboration committees. Now, just wanted to note that committee members will be approved quarterly. The OST office has received applications for community members and stakeholders that are interested in these OST commission committees. Are there any committee chairs that have reviewed applications and are ready to put them before the commission for approval?
Yes, this is Commissioner Spector again from the Outcomes and Needs Assessment Committee. We have 3 folks that we feel comfortable moving forward with.
Wonderful. Great job, Commissioner Spector. That's an awesome increase in members. Let's see. Okay. Great. I'm sorry, just reading the rest of this. Okay, good. Yeah, so let's go ahead and move forward with those new committee members. Thank you very much.
And Chairperson Peacock?
Yes, sir.
We are also the funding capacity building committee is ready. I was hoping Commissioner Crump, who was also instrumental in reviewing applicants this week, her and myself, and we reviewed, I think 8. And I just need to verify the number. And I think 6 of those individuals are interested in becoming members of funding capacity.
That's wonderful. Okay, that's a big increase. That's great. Great job.
Yeah, it's great. We are very
Nice.
excited about that.
That's
And
awesome.
it, it, and so the next process, do we need to submit those applications to you?
Yes, I believe we can have those submitted to me and Dr. Lowe and Deborah to take a look at.
Okay, I don't know. Is Deborah? We were working on that last night, and Commissioner Crump again. She's absent
Okay.
tonight. Deborah, did you get any of those applications?
I wasn't sent the ones that that you approved.
Okay, great. Well, we'll get them over to you this week. I need to catch up with Commissioner Crump. Thank you so much.
Sounds good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Let's see. Any other committees with new committee members?
I don't believe the Quality Committee has had any applicants. We
Oh,
did have
okay.
a person join the committee several months ago, but I don't know that there was like a formal approval process for that. Kevin might be able to help out here.
That's that's an excellent question because he's actually has attended several of our committee meetings. Let me follow up, Commissioner Berkey, and I can send him the application if he hasn't completed one.
Thanks.
You're
Okay.
welcome.
Sounds good. Great, great. Okay. Any other committees? Okay. Wonderful. Well, Commissioner Spector and Commissioner Hill, thank you for your excellent work. We're really glad to hear about the growth in these committees. I think that's really wonderful, and definitely shows that something's being accomplished and we're reaching the community. So that's excellent to hear. Moving forward, we will work to approve any new committee members on a quarterly basis. So please feel free to continue reaching out to your network if there is anyone that you think might be able to contribute to your committee or any of the other committees that this commission works with. We would love to have new members and increase that outreach. The next item that we have an update on is the strategic plan timeline update. I know we've been speaking about this every meeting for a while, but once again, just to broad refresher, we are required to update the strategic plan every 3 years, which ends this year. The commission has confirmed that the 4 strategic priorities will stay the same for the upcoming strategic plan. Those priorities are funding and capacity building, outcomes and needs assessment, quality, and coordination and collaboration. This slide is a reminder that the strategic plan completion has been postponed for the OST office to support additional community engagement opportunities. The office has had 2 engagement opportunities so far and will be planning a schedule of additional engagement opportunities over the summer months. So we're looking forward to those. Now, the next slide represents the updated timeline. As previously proposed, there will be one off-cycle commission meeting scheduled now for December for the second public notice. This is a tentative timeline, and the goal is to have the final vote and approval of the updated 3-year strategic plan by January of 2023. There needs to be a determination on the date of the off-cycle December commission meeting. Currently, we're proposing December 8th, but the options for either the December 1st or the 15th are also available. So if you have any objections with the 8th and would prefer the other 2, please feel free to let us know, and we'll make that work. Initially, there was an off-cycle meeting scheduled for August, which will be canceled and adjusted to the agreed upon date in December. This proposed timeline has been maximized to allow the committee's time to discuss and gain public opinion between now and December of 2022. The OST office will continue to use the months of August and September to garner feedback from community members and stakeholders. Okay.
Could I
So,
just, sorry, Commissioner,
sure.
I just
Mhm.
wanted to be clear about what is the mechanism for the outcomes of the community engagement to get back to the various committees to inform our updates to the strategic plan.
That's a great question. Let's
It
see. I think based
seems like October, we should get something that
right.
we could work with.
Absolutely. Deborah, do you know the answer to that one?
I do not. I would pass
Okay.
that to Dr. Love.
I can jump in, yeah.
Sure,
So
thanks.
we are in the process of rolling out a needs assessment with our partners, including our grantees, parents, and community members. We are slated to have a summary of those findings from the needs assessment by our target date is Thanksgiving. Once we have that information in tow, with engaging our community members to see what the priorities should be or what their needs are, that will then ultimately inform our strategic plan. So we are in the process of doing a needs assessment with our stakeholders. And then once we have that data collected and compiled, it will then be able to inform and also be shared with us to inform what the content of our strategic plan will be moving forward. And that is in partnership with the DC Policy Center.
Excellent.
Thank you. I'm just thinking with that information, then looking at the strategic plan timeline, November on this timeline is the point at which we should have updates and the first public notice of the revised strategic plan. But I thought we had hoped that the data that's being compiled would inform the plan. And if that's not coming until Thanksgiving,
From my
we
understanding,
need to shift a tiny bit somewhere.
Yeah, and I'll jump in too to help Dr. Lowe, only because this was created before we have not made the changes exactly to this timeline, and maybe we can discuss it here in real time, since DC Policy Center let us know that it is going to take until about Thanksgiving for them to give us something tangible to look at. So this may need to be adjusted, hence why this is very tentative, to slate back even a little further, depending on what that looks like for the timeline in November. They can get us something earlier, then this might be able to stay, but it was anticipated that they would get us something tangible a little bit earlier than November initially. Sorry, Dr. Lowe, go ahead.
no, my understanding it was pushed back till January. So I guess this is new information for me. So I appreciate this download.
Well, this is just the public notice. So these things that you're seeing here, it's still finalization in January, but this is how we have to get the information out to the public about where the commission is with the strategic plan. So the question from Commissioner Berkey is, as we are using that needs assessment to support the strategic plan, will we have it, if we're talking about Thanksgiving, in time enough for this first public notice? And this is where, especially with Dr. Lowe coming on this slide in particular, although we wanted to keep it here, as Dr. Lowe really gets in the throes with the DC Policy Center, this may need to change. But I still think, Dr. Lowe, you can confirm here, maybe this is putting you on the spot a little bit, but I think you're still anticipating some level of completion for the strategic plan around January, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So, I mean, it sounds like maybe we should opt for, if the 1st, the 8th, or the 15th, the first seems premature if the report is coming at Thanksgiving. So I don't know. Just to give us time to digest, have a meeting to look at the implications for our subcommittees and the plan. Maybe we need to just make that more like the 15th. I don't know.
If all things go according to plan, January, but that's if all things go according to plan.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. Okay, well, thank you very much for explaining that to us. Are there any additional questions on that matter? Okay, wonderful. Now, the next item on the agenda is the OST office transition. As you're all aware, we now have Dr. Lowe joining us, which is wonderful. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Lowe to the team as our new executive director of the office. And so far, she's jumped in and been doing a great job. So we're very happy to have you. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Sure, sure. Also, on a bit of a sad note, our interim director, Bowie's last day with the office will be Friday, September 30th, which is coming up very quickly. So, thank you for the excellent work you've done. We've been really happy to have you. As I mentioned before, you had an excellent predecessor, so large shoes to fill, but you did a great job filling those shoes. So we really appreciate you, stepping up and doing all that you did.
Thank you, Commissioner Peacock, and thank you, commissioners, for being so gracious during the time of interim. It's been great working with all of you, especially my committee, the Outcomes of the Needs Assessment Committee. We do great work, but all of you, I really appreciate it, and thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. We appreciate you. Does anyone have any words or anything to say before we move on? Okay.
I just want to say thank you guys for welcoming me. I'm excited to work with you. I have worked in and around the DC area for the greater part of 15 years. I've been a grantee, worked with students in DC, Baltimore City, Prince George's County as a teacher, educator, youth developer, leading and managing summer camps, trips for kids, etc. So I'm not new to the space, and I appreciate you guys for giving me the opportunity and privilege to work in partnership with you on behalf of our kids.
That's excellent. Thank you. Very excited. Very excited to work with you. Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to say to Ms. Bowie, God bless you on your new endeavors. Really appreciate, meeting with you and the opportunity to work with you and our subcommittees. And yeah, man, it's kind of bittersweet for me. But anyway, I wish you victory and great success in all your endeavors. And to our new director, welcome aboard. Looking forward to Dr. Lowe working along with you as well. Appreciate the work that you've already established in the District of Columbia and in surrounding jurisdictions. And we'll be praying for you as well.
Thank you, Commissioner Hill.
Yeah, thank you for those wonderful words, Commissioner Hill. That's excellent. Okay. So if there's nothing else, the next item will be the committee updates. Let's see. Commissioner Spector, are you ready to provide us with the updates for the Outcomes and Needs Assessment Committee?
Yep, and I think we'll be pretty brief here. As has already been mentioned, we have a few folks that we're looking forward to joining us moving forward. We did meet last week and are scheduled. I actually wrote this down ahead of time, so I have this in front of me here. We're scheduled to meet October 12th at 10 a.m. if anyone would like to join. As has already been mentioned, with the needs assessment moving at full speed now, what we're trying to think about as a committee, and I think really hoping to dive into more fully in the next meeting, is to think through, even before we have the data, what types of decision points we could start to be thinking about whatever the data comes back to us, because we know the topics that are being explored. So what are the sort of strategic decisions that we should be thinking about as a committee, and how could that affect other committees in the office more broadly as well? So hopefully that is a fruitful discussion. We welcome anyone joining it with us, and excited to see what the needs assessment has in store.
Wonderful, thank you. Well, that's excellent. Definitely good updates. Thank you for the wonderful work you're doing. Commissioner Hill, do you have any updates for the Funding and Capacity Building Committee?
Thank you. Just a few in addition to what you already mentioned with regard to, uh, we're excited about the new committee members that are going to be joining us. Some of them have already been working with us previously. Uh, so we are looking forward to the continued work with those individuals, as well as a few new members that are going to be joining us as well. We did meet a couple of times. We met this month, September the 19th, and we met again on July the 18th. We plan to have a follow-up meeting next month in October. I don't know if we had a date and for that meeting, Deborah. And also Commissioner Crump has been working. She's not here tonight. She's been with us in our subcommittee meetings. Has been working along with our team with the strategic plan. And we're just still digging in on certain items and certain tactics in that plan. So we'll be ready to really move forward with that. We did talk a little bit in our previous meetings about the capacity building opportunities, and we've discussed that through this larger committee meeting a few months ago. So there really aren't any updates in that area. And we're still looking forward to the joining hands with the collaboration and coordination committee and sometime in the future. Yep. And that pretty much concludes, our updates.
The
Thank
next
you.
meeting is October 24th from 6 to 7:30.
Thank you, ma'am. October 24th.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Well, thank you very much for those updates. And once again, to the both of you, thank you for the new committee members. I'm really excited about that.
Yeah.
That's excellent news. Let's see.
Oh, Commissioner Crump is joining us. I don't know if she has any additional updates regarding our conversation in our committee meeting.
Okay, welcome, Commissioner Crump.
Hi, everybody. I'm so sorry I'm late, and I'm going to confer to you, Commissioner Hill, because I did not hear your full update, but I know that you, I'm confident that you recapped everything.
Well, I
Awesome.
did. It was one thing I was thinking about, and it was that this strategic plan that we were working on. What was the issue that we discussed yesterday in terms of authentic members of the community? Is that
Yeah, so authentic, one of the things that we're really like trying to wrap our heads around is how to make sure that we are building a plan for authentic ties to the community, because we know prior to COVID and even after COVID, a lot of the feedback that we've received is in concern to that. So one of the challenges, that one of the ways which we have it as a tactic on a strategic plan, was the idea of either having OST and or grant reviewers do some kind of meeting with sorry, the specific words that we used in it, we were just trying to do site visits, and that idea kind of was like that may be something that we're not possible to do, but we want to make sure that we keep in line with having authentic ties to the community. So we're just trying to wrap our heads around that and what can be done. So those are still listed as specific tactics on our for the funding and capacity building committee for our strategic plan, but we're just trying to figure out if they should stay, if they should be reworded, or how we should move forward with making sure that we have authentic ties to the community, because we don't want organizations writing to grants specifically, but making sure that they've been in those communities that they're servicing prior to grant application. So that's one of the things that we're kind of trying to figure out. And I think with us having new members to the committee, which will be great, they'll be able to help us with that. But that's kind of, we spent the bulk of our time in our last meeting the other day discussing those two specific things and trying to come up with ideas.
perfect?
That sounds wonderful. Thank you. And it's nice to see you on here again. Welcome back. I'm definitely glad to hear from you.
Me too. sorry. Keep it going.
Thank you. All good. All good. Okay,
And
next.
I,
Oh,
I
sorry, go ahead.
think, sorry, one other thing, we're in this conversation. Commissioner Crump, I think we need to submit those applications over to the chairperson as well, the ones that we worked so hard on this week. They can keep them pushing. I just wanted to mention that. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Hill. And Commissioner Crump, I had mentioned this to Commissioner Hill earlier, but just want to say great job with all those new committee members. We're really excited to have so many people joining. I think that's awesome. So I'm really happy to hear that and looking forward to the new members.
Yes, we are as well.
Good, good. Thanks. Next, Commissioner Cataldo, you ready for the quality committee updates?
I'm going to pass that to Commissioner Berkey, actually, Chairperson Peacock.
Sounds good. Thank you.
I have very, very little to update. I think the summer months were more of a focus on just getting the work. I know Kevin's. We last met, at the end of the spring, really, and we had hoped to get the input on the strategic plan from the needs assessment. We had completed our review of the strategic plan up to the point of maybe being advised by more input. So we will be meeting again soon. I think it's important for us to map out a series of meetings that will allow us to work on the strategic round. Really, Kevin's been able to move forward on the SEL work with the White Guard SEL series and some of the other things that we had in the plan.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for the update. That's excellent. Let's see. Next, Commissioner Siegel, are you ready to provide us with the coordination and collaboration committee updates?
Commissioner Siegel is not here, but I'll try a detail or a brief update from the Coordination and Collaboration Committee. So as always, and as other groups and other committees have said, we are definitely still looking for committee members to join and help us continue our work and bolster our work as we continue to move forward. We have met a couple of times since our last, or we have met one time since our last meeting, but at the same time, we have been waiting to discuss which tactics we should strategically attack as we continue to move forward, as we're waiting to hear back directly from the needs assessment and the information that is gathered through the different channels on that. And so that is just the biggest update from our office, from our committee. And then also we are scheduled to meet next month as well. No date has been set yet, but when that date is announced, we will definitely not only publicize it in the newsletter, but also list those dates on the Learn24 website as well. So thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you for jumping in. Definitely an excellent update. So thank you for all the great work that each of you are doing within these committees. Really happy to hear that, especially the new committee members. And that brings us to our next point, which is we are also looking for committee members for all of our committees. So please continue to share the opportunity with your networks. We're really glad to have these new committee members that we currently have, and we'll be even happier with even more. So thank you for continuing to do that outreach. Let's see. Now, the next commission meeting is scheduled for November 17th at the same time, 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Currently, the meetings are scheduled to remain virtual if that's what's agreed upon. Does anyone have any opposition to the virtual meetings? Okay, and if that changes anytime, please feel free to let us know and we can review that. But for now, the meetings will be virtual. Let's see. Okay. Now, before we adjourn the meeting, is there any additional business or comments that anyone would like to discuss? Okay, great. May I please have a motion to adjourn?
Commissioner Spector, motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Commissioner Spector. Okay. Any seconds to that motion?
Vice Chairman Holland, I second the motion.
Thank you, Vice Chairman Holland. Okay, wonderful. So we're going to go into, once again, a roll call vote for that. Commissioner Berkey,
Approve.
thank you. Commissioner Coates,
Approve.
thank you. Commissioner Crump,
Yeah, that nigga was saying.
Approved.
thank you. Commissioner Hill,
Approved.
thank you. Vice Chairman Holland,
Approved.
thank you. Commissioner Jenkins,
Approve.
thank you. And I approve as well. Commissioner Spector,
Approve.
thank you. Okay, great. Well, the motion to adjourn unanimously approves. And the meeting is adjourned at 7 p.m. Commissioners, thank you very much for all the excellent work you're doing. Really happy to hear all the progress. Really happy to hear about the new committee members, and also really happy to have Dr. Lowe aboard with us. So thank you again. Benio, we're really going to miss you. So thank you for all your excellent work. Please let us know how we can, stay in contact with you or support you in your future endeavors. But you'll be greatly missed for sure.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Maybe I'll be
All
a
right.
commissioner one day.
Hopefully.
Quality committee is seeking
Yeah.
members.
Yeah, we're definitely seeking new committee members. So,
Put me on Commissioner Berkey's committee.
Yes. Great.
See y'all.
All right. Well, take care, everyone. Thank you. Have
Thanks,
a great
everybody.
evening and a safe evening as well.
Yep.
All right.
Good
Thank
night.
you. Bye-bye.